Hey friends, I'm Otis Gibbs, and this is my buddy Brenda Colladay. She's going to talk about how Emmylou Harris helped save the Ryman Auditorium in Nashville.
National Life and Accident Insurance Company, the parent company for the Opry and WSM, decided to build the Grand Ole Opry House outside of town. They determined that they should tear down the Ryman. And the Ryman was a tabernacle. The first event there was in 1892. And it was a solid building. I mean, it was very solid. And it was just outmoded. It was, it was a tabernacle and it wasn't really built for shows. It didn't have air conditioning. It didn't have modern backstage dressing rooms. And it had such a great history with, all of the stars who were household names who kind of built country music, from Roy Acuff and Bill Monroe and Minnie Pearl and Ernest Tubb and Hank Snow, and all of those type folks had performed there, and those who were living were certainly boosters for the new place too, don't get me wrong, but I think they just thought that having that sentimental place downtown might be some unwanted competition for the hearts and minds of the public. They planned on tearing it down. They were going to take some of the pews, some of the bricks, maybe a column or two, and build the little chapel at Opryland. So they were going to build this little church type place at Opryland. There was a lot of controversy in Nashville because some of the old guard were preservationists and wanted to see it preserved. Some people with power, took the sides of their friends who ran the National Life and Accident Insurance Company. There was just a lot of controversy. A woman who I think was not from Nashville came and did some research and got it placed on the National Register of Historic Places, which really hacked off the powers that were at that time. And just country fans started getting that, getting the word. And like I said, some of them, I've seen some of the letters, and some of them were confused about what was going on. They thought the Opry was closing and started letter writing campaigns. And then the big thing that really, I think, turned the tide was that a woman named Ada Louise Huxtable, who was the architecture critic for the New York Times, got a hold of the story and wrote a scathing article in the New York Times just shaming the people who ran the insurance company for the most pious misuse of of a historic property ever developed. And after that, things kind of quieted down for a while. They just announced the demolition was not imminent. They were just going to sit on it for a while. And they sat on it for a good long while. I mean, the place got opened up for tours, and, these tour groups would come and pay $1 and walk around backstage at the Ryman. And it was not, it was just like the Opry picked up and left. And nothing else happened there. There were a few little things here and there, but mostly it was just open for tours. They had a gift shop, and people would kind of go commune with the ghosts and visit. So, but, there started in the mid-'80s to be some talk about, hey, maybe we should revitalize downtown. Maybe the Ryman can be a big part of that. One of my favorite propositions was that they thought about building a giant glass dome all around the Ryman and a park around it. So it was like a ginormous snow globe or something. I don't know. That was, I think, just a cocktail party napkin thing. But it made it into like a local, like the Nashville Business Journal or something. I mean, I've seen a little sketch of that. But then there was like some serious, hey, let's get in the building and figure out what needs to be done. And in 1989, at that point, Gaylord Entertainment Company had bought out those properties from National Life, had been bought out by American General Insurance Company. They didn't want any part of entertainment entities at that point, included TNN, WSM, the Ryman, the Opry, Hee Haw. I mean, Gaylord had brought Hee Haw with them. So Gaylord, that was not. But there was a production company, at that point. And so Gaylord Entertainment out of Oklahoma bought all of the entertainment properties, and it was then that they started kind of looking at revitalizing the Ryman, seeing what they could do with that. And so in 1989, they spent $1 million just on the exterior. They went through and they fixed there had been this big, beautiful lancet window in front that had fallen in, that was just replaced with white painted plywood. The doors didn't really work. The brick was not in the best shape. So they went through and they tuck pointed all the brick, and they replaced the lancet window, and they just got it looking good on the outside. And then, started talking about like, let's really do this thing. But there was a series for TNN that started doing some shows at the Ryman, and there'd been a couple. I know Lori Morgan did one, and I can't remember who else, but then it was actually after that they decided to do one with Emmylou Harris. And that was the one that really sort of, I think, resonated with the right crowd. Got people, they invited, I want to say like 300 people in to record the show, to record a live album. And, Emmylou has a lot of power. She speaks truth to power, and she's just known for having, being beyond reproach, like having great taste, wanting, in everything from music to preservation. And I think that, she did lobby for, hey, this place should be preserved. This is a great environment. People got to come in and be in the room and see how cool it was. And she made it even cooler by she being there, bringing Bill Monroe up on stage and dancing with him. And, from then, I think there just started to be, it was already kind of in the works, but it really caught fire. And they ended up, I think Bud Wendell said that they planned on spending $8 million, and they ended up spending $14 million restoring the Ryman, and reopened it in '96. So
I don't think people remember how close it came to.
Oh, God. I mean, it was so close to being gone. And I mean, just imagine downtown Nashville without the Ryman. It would be like the heart of downtown would not be there. It really is. Beyond the country music history, I mean, everybody you can think of came to Nashville and stood on that stage. I mean, from Booker T. Washington to Helen Keller to Mae West to Duke Ellington to, preachers, Billy Sunday to every sort of entertainer imaginable. William Jennings Bryan,
Jackie Fargo,
Eugene Debs. Strom Thurmond. Every ilk of humanity. It's just where. It's like where Nashville went to see the rest of the world.